Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing 3 things we learned from a different sort of setup. As you can already see, if you are here or if you're watching back once the video is uploaded, we are live for 3 things we've learned. So there's a couple of reasons around why I've decided to do this, rather than just do the normal format where I record it, I give my reactions, I edit it, blah, 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 all that stuff. The reason I'm not doing it today, well, 2 reasons. Number one is I have work tonight, so it's going to be a tight schedule to get things done. I'm not too sure if this would become the regular format for this sort of thing. The other reason is because today's game, I don't think merited quite the 3 things we learned format. I found it difficult to pick out 3 individual things that we could have said we learned. Overall, I think this is more of a match review, talking about everything between the first and 90th minute, because undoubtedly up until the 89th minute of the game, we were looking at what could have potentially been the worst performance so far Celtic have given this season. So it was a very, 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 very tough watch. But we're here to break it down, give my 3 things we learned anyway, all in a new format, all here live for today's game. Anyway, so if you are watching live, I can see people piling in the chat and everything. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here towards the end of the video. I'll get people involved. I'll bring up some comments, but I'm trying to keep it around the regular 10-15 minute mark, so it's as easy as possible for people to follow. Big Dave is getting his talk in. He's no missing out an opportunity to brag. So anyway, Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0. Let's just cut the crap for a minute before we talk about the massive positives at the end of the game. It was an absolutely dreadful performance. Right up until that point, it was not good enough. And there's no point coming on and lying about it and saying that it was good because we got 3 points. Look, yes, the most important part of this season is get 3 points no matter what. That's what ultimately is going to bring us the league title. But for a performance right before the derby, you know, we've got the derby when we're back from this international break. It was really not good enough. Everybody just looked lazy. The pace of the game was far too slow. People looked lost in the park, and even the people who we have praised so much over the past few weeks, who includes the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, who, you know, has been great. Today, he wasn't spectacular either, and it's a real shame that we rely on him so much to start attacks. He's a 19-year-old right back, for God's sake, and we rely on him so much. But even today, his performance wasn't great. I feel like the 11 that started the game, there wasn't one of the performances from anyone on that starting 11 that you could go, they were all right today. I feel like there was no one. The big change came with the substitutions later on in the game. First half, incredibly poor. I did think second half going into it, you know what, we'll get something here, we'll do something. But no. Look, first half, let's talk about that first, because that's the natural order of things, isn't it? You talk about the first half first, then you talk about the second half. First half, yeah, it was just slow. Pace wasn't great. We were walking through the game, sideward passing, going nowhere. People looked uninterested. The real annoying thing was when we did have moments of positivity, and this is where I have to say, for one moment, a well done and a hats off to the opposition. St Johnstone in the first half made life difficult, because every moment we had, every opportunity we had to go forward, every time we got them on the turn, they filled us. They took cards, they took out the chin and moved on, because they knew they were in trouble. Whenever someone beat them on the turn, whether it be in Cham, Edward, Christie didn't start, El Yunusi, whoever, pull them at the ground, take their shirt off. They played well in the first half. They were physical. They made it demanding. And ultimately, it drained us out the game. Because then when we didn't rely on the turn, when we were hitting out wide, trying to get crosses in, they defended it incredibly well. So first half, they made it hard. Second half, they did get far more defensive. You know, we've seen that normal situation and what happens in the league games. We've seen 10 men behind the ball. The blue shirts were everywhere. And we had to leave it late. Let's talk about people who started the game. Odsonne Edouard today wasn't good enough. Hopefully he's just saving it for the old firm. Now he's got a chance to go away for 2 weeks, play with his pals over in France, come back, hopefully high energy, ready to go and score some goals against Rangers. But judging off his performance today, does he start the old firm? Of course he does. Let's not lie to ourselves. He's obviously going to start the old firm, but his performance today was absolutely dreadful, and Cham dreadful too. And these are players that we're meant to turn to in the highest, the toughest moments, and to create those moments of magic to get us out of sticky situations. And today, they never done that. They never done it at all. So, it was an incredibly frustrating first sort of 75 minutes to the game, but things did change as we got into the second half. We saw the substitutions come on. Patrick Kamara, Lee Griffiths, Tom Rogic, Scott Brown, all entered the game. And let's be fair to them, they all done their part and helped change it. Lee Griffiths, he's back. He's back with a bang. There's the first thing of the 3 things we've learned today. Lee Griffiths is back, and yes, Of course, as most of us have, as a majority of younger Celtic fans will tell you, we've all been critics of Lee Griffiths. We've all doubted him at times. But today, we've seen why he is still a Celtic player. You know, we've all asked, why is he still here? You know, at times we have. And look, it feels like I'm repeating the exact same things I said in, January last year. So this time in January, at the start of the year, he came back into the team. Last season, I should say. He came back into the team. And there was that question mark, why is he still here? Is he useful? And then he proved everyone wrong. He went on that run of scoring. It was fantastic. He was back to his best. He was scoring more goals than the whole Rangers front line, for God's sake. It was fantastic. And he proved all of us wrong. And then this all hit. Football's off. He scored a hat-trick in the last game. Break hits. Come back. He's apparently overweight. He's not fit to play. He gets left out of the pre-season squad. Neil Lennon isn't happy with his attitude. Once again, Celtic fans are thinking to themselves, nah, no good enough. Should we get rid of him? Should he get a chance? Blah, blah. He comes in now and he shows the calibre of player he is. Look, there might be so many questions that always hang over his attitude and his sort of approach to the game. And sometimes his professionalism. Yes, there'll always be question marks hanging over that. But ultimately, there is no doubt about the calibre of football player he is and the quality he possesses as a striker. And that came in here again today. A man who quite frequently, you would say, shouldn't be on the end of headers. A wee guy, what a fantastic header. And I love a bit of football to create it. And he left it late for us, but he was there. And look, he kind of changed the tone of the game when he came on. I think we changed our approach to suit Lee Griffiths. And that's going to help. I think having Griffiths now as a utility player to come on when, say, a Yeti or Edouard is, because in my eyes, a Yeti and Edouard are still the two starting strikers for now. I'm not going to change my mind on that until I see overwhelming evidence to suggest that Griffiths should be the starting striker. But Griffiths is going to be a big impact player. He's going to be great, and that today is showing that we can use him as much as we need to in confidence rather than out of scepticism. Because when he came on today, my first thought was, do you know what? I'll actually admit to you, this was the first time I think in a very long time I've said I would love Lee Griffiths to come on here, because I've been on the kind of approach, and I said it in last week's Three Things We've Learned. I've been saying that Griffiths, yes, as much as I would love to see him come back and score for Celtic, I don't think that it's quite right to erase the progress we've made with Patrick Kamara. I think to suddenly put him above Kamara in the pecking order would be unfair on him, who's made a lot of progress. But today I was screaming for him to come on, and when he did come on, he got the goal. We've seen that. So fantastic stuff from Lee Griffiths. That's the first thing we learned today. It's the plain and obvious thing. Thank God he came on and got the goal, because the performance was absolutely dreadful. Very quickly, coming over to the comment section, thank you to everybody who has been joining in with the stream. We've got James Robinson, we've got Callum, an old-time favourite of the channel, Mike Armstrong, we've got Stuart McMalley. We've got a lot of people tuning into the live version of Three Things We've Learned, so thank you very much. But the first thing we learned, of course, Lee Griffiths back with a bang. Second thing we've learned, Tom Rogic, he's not lost his touch. I think, do you know what? Let's give him his praise today. I think he'll go very unnoticed. I think his performance will be undermined because of Griffiths coming back and scoring the goal. Look, when Tom Rogic came on today, I thought he looked great. He looked really direct. He looked good when travelling off the ball. I feel like a couple of his passes, yes, but there was a couple of times he could have been better. They ended up going to the St Johnstone players or over or under hit, whatever. It's natural for that to happen to someone who's not played a game of football since March as well. He's been out the team. We've not seen him at all. So for me, Rogic today came on and he looked good. He looked really good, travelling with the ball. He looked in control. His technical ability was fantastic. Ultimately, I think that it's another player that adds to the depth. We questioned at the start of the season, will players like Griffiths and Rogic be a part of that depth? Are there going to be plans? We were talking about Rogic leaving the club, for God's sake. He was meant to be heading over to Qatar. He's came on today and showed that he has still got all the qualities possessed that he had in the past. A fantastic player. And do you know what? I don't think he's going to get a great amount of time as a Celtic player this year, but look, we can't undermine the quality he does have. One thing I was thinking is, give him the ball, let him ping it from range. He can curl the ball in the top corner from anywhere. He's fantastic at it. He's got a great shot on him. He's unreal. It was good to see him back. And I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed to see these two guys come back into the squad and actually make an impact, rather than the situation which many of us would have thought that they won't make much of an impact. So it's good. It's a good feeling. And finally, the third thing we've learned before I head over to the comment section for 5 minutes or so, the third thing I think we've learned is this international break couldn't come at a better time. I think Celtic are in dire need of it. I think we need the break. I think that we are looking, I wouldn't say we're looking fatigued, because we're, at the end of the day, we're the champions of Scotland. We've won 10 straight trophies. These are professional footballers who've done it for years now. We know what the fixture lists are like, but the way we've been playing at times has looked, we're stretching these games out to be more difficult than they should be, and the games are feeling a lot longer than they should be. Look, the exception of Hibs last week, we got the job done early, we were looking good, we were in control of the game at Celtic Park, but you look at the other night against Sarajevo, yes, controlled the game, but we waited so much longer than we needed to for a goal in my eyes. Today, we waited so much longer than we should have for a goal. The performance was dreadful. I think these players are dying for a wee 2-week break, and I think in terms of the Old Firm being the next game, or the Glasgow Derby, whatever you like to call it, in terms of that being the next game, this break could not come at a better time. I feel like it'll let us come back to full fitness. I feel like it'll let us come back to a good energy level to take the game to Rangers on the 17th. Rangers are high in energy at the minute. Their style of football hasn't been as stale as ours. And yes, we have scored more goals than them in the league. The myth that even I was suggesting in my video yesterday, that Rangers have been more clinical than us, has been disproved by the figures of goals scored in the league. Of course, they can overtake that today. But ultimately, we have been far more stale in the part of what Rangers have. So we need an energy going into this game to match what Rangers will more than likely bring, because we've seen how Rangers attack the game against us in these derbies recently. Since Gerrard's came in, they've been a lot more attacking in the game. They've been a lot more clinical in the game. So we need to bring an energy level to that game. And what we need is this break. We need Eddie to have this break. I think he's one of the most important figures that will benefit from a bit of time off. Of course, he will probably play with the France under-21s, but in terms of club football, he's got to come back to the biggest game now. And he knows how important it is for not just Celtic, but for his own career, because he's not going to, as Callum is saying now in the chat, I can see he's not going to move anywhere if he's playing like that every week. Today, it looked as though he was just out for the cameras. He was out there, it looked good or whatever. He just didn't seem like he was out there. And I feel bad for him at times, because I feel like the game just did not suit him today. I feel like he's probably hurting from not having someone like a Yeti or Griffiths beside him up front. But ultimately, it's not good enough. I feel like he didn't have enough time with the ball to really do much, but that is what it is. And ultimately, we got 2 goals, and a big shout finally to end the video with Patrick Klimala. Patrick Klimala, what a great bit of confidence he'll get from that goal. And it's a man, and Andy Walker said it well. As much as Andy, I wish there was a mute button for Andy Walker, in all fairness, but he said it well at the end of the game, that that was a mark of a man who wants to score goals at the minute and is dying to score goals. So the way he got tackled, got back up. Look, Edouard would never have done that. He scored the goal, and it's a fantastic finish as well from Patrick Klimala. So a great bit of impact from him coming on the pitch as well, as much as Griffiths. So great from them. Very happy with the 3 points, but let's not hide away from the fact that it was a very poor performance. We need to pick up on that, especially when you look at what the next game is and how. Not even just the next game, the next few months. Now that we've got the Europa League, we've got AC Milan, we've got Lille, we've got Sparta Prague, we've got 3 tough teams. We've got to throw in games at home and away to those. We've got a game against Rangers. We've got tough league games up and down the country. The fixture list is not going to be nice towards Celtic, and we can't perform like that week in, week out. We just can't. Ultimately, that's how it works. So, hi, we've talked for 40 minutes, 214 people watching live. Thank you all very much. For 5 minutes now, I will answer questions, whether it's on today's game or such. So let's see. Ross Cameron saying, Klimala and Griff up front from now on by Eddie. I think that's a bit harsh, Ross. I can understand that, judging on recent performances, Edouard has not been great. He's looked at a shell of himself. Maybe it is a mixture of fatigue and fitness issues after he was out injured and thrown in the amount of minutes he's played. Or maybe it is just down to the fact he can't be bothered and he has just been genuinely trash. For me, Edouard is still the best player in this country. We know it. And he's looking half the player he normally does. But he's the type of player who can turn it on at any minute. And I just think he needs a bit up the backside. Do we give him that by dropping him in the Old Firm? I think that's a bit far. We know how good he is in these games. We know how good he is in the derby. And we'll see how that goes. Callum suggesting, or saying in the chat, sorry, Turnbull set pieces far superior to Christie. Thoughts today on that, Ryan? Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan Christie today, when he was stepping up to take the free kicks after he came on the game, they were absolutely hopeless. And I was surprised they took Turnbull off at that point in the game for Ryan Christie. If anything, I thought Olivier and Cham should have left the game at that point, but Neil Lennon decided to take Turnbull off. And I do think Turnbull's deliveries looked better. From corners, we just made nothing altogether. We had 11, 12 corners in the game, and we made absolutely nothing out of them. I think we had one decent chance with a Duffy header. But the free kicks Christie was delivering in the second half were rotten, absolutely rotten. You've got to look at that and think to yourself, surely we change it up. He's got to assess himself. And last week I was very vocal on three things we learned towards the fact that I think Turnbull should start over Christie. I feel like today Christie didn't help that as much. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being harsh on Ryan Christie. But the crosses were absolutely hopeless. Sorry, today I was looking at someone saying hopeful. Given saying, what do I think on the Snodgrass news? I've not actually seen anything that yet, so I'll have to go and look after the show is done. But thank you for informing me that there is news regarding Robert Snodgrass. That is, happy. Okay, need a left back by Monday night. Lawson 7 saying, yep, 1 day till the transfer window shuts now. We've still not got a left back in. What's that about? Neil Lennon, bored. Anybody involved in the transfer shenanigans over in Celtic Park, get the finger out your backside. We have a day left in the transfer window. We have one left back in the club who clearly a lot of fans do not feel fit for the shirt and the starting 11 anyway. We need competition in that area of the field. Yes, I would like to back Greg Taylor and hope that he does improve as a player, but he's not going to improve without competition in the squad and a guaranteed place there every week. We need to sign somebody. There's not enough time for rumours and chat and talk and your wee phone calls here and there. Get the business done. Loan deal or no, we need somebody in this club. We need a left back signed. We're waiting too long. We're going to end up regretting it. If Taylor even got injured, who are we playing there? Who are we playing as a left back? We're not going to improvise this year, are we? On the biggest domestic season of our existence? Are we going to improvise? Are we going to shove Christopher Ayer over on the left-hand side of the fence for the rest of the season? No. Impossible. We need to sign a left back. Time has come. Transfer window is shutting. Whoever it is, get them in. Make sure they're quality. Make sure they're good enough. Make sure they are a man who's going to play for the Celtic badge in such a big season. Just get the business done. Ross Cameron suggesting as well that Cham, Taylor and Turnbull were horrible today. I think Cham and Taylor were certainly horrible. I feel like David Turnbull was, it wasn't as good as what he was last week. I think terrible would be it. I thought no one in the team was good today. But once again, I feel like Turnbull's another one of those players who didn't really get into the game as much as he normally would have or could have. But we'll see what happens. If Taylor gets injured with McGregor left mid, like your FM said, maybe it will be. We know Neil Lennon is the king of improvisation. We've seen it before. I'm sure we'll see it again. That's never going to end. We know it fine well. We've got Callum Duncan saying we need Julian in the team for another option for corners and free kicks. Spot on. I think that's right. I think Julian will return to the team post-international break. It's a shame. I think Neil Beaton has looked really good there, but of course now he's injured. But that now leaves the opportunity for Julian to now come back in and take his place in the starting 11. I don't think El Ahmed was great today. I thought he was quite poor. I thought he was sloppy in possession. His passing was too safe. And at times when he was trying to play it safe, it was still going to St Johnstone players. So rightfully, Julian should take his place back in the next game, I think, and start beside Ayer and Duffy. Willie, I don't know. We'll soon see. There's 2 weeks to assess that situation. And I'm sure Neil Lennon will have to work bare bones in the training ground to see what he'll do heading into that game. But Julian from set pieces would be an option and a half, to say the least. It would be fantastic. So, I think that'll. Who would you like to see Celtic sign the left back position? Says Finlay Glancy. At this point, it is looking bare. It's looking like the options are wearing thin. Look, honestly, if we could get anybody I suggested in that video I made the other day, shameless plug, I'll take any of them. Alfred Doughty is looking like it's not going to happen now. The Danish boy, we went cold turkey on that. It doesn't look like happening. I would like us to try and go for Christian Fuchs if possible. Don't think that would happen though. There's a few suggestions you can throw out there, but ultimately I'm not the head of recruitment, so I'm not in the know with where we are standing on current business now. So and finally, to end off the show, I think Griffiths proved why he's important to the squad today. Celtic scrape through 2-0 win today at McDiarmid Park. We left it late, but Lee Griffiths is back, and he's back with a bang, a big goal, showing the calibre of player he is, as usual when he returns to this. We all like to doubt him, even Celtic fans, and yet he throws it in our face every bloody time. Look, if you are new to the channel, if you're watching live, you're not watching live, a very big shout out to Mostro Clothing. If you could go and follow them on Instagram, it's brought to you today by them, by myself. But it is my company. A fantastic, successful launch yesterday, or 2 days ago, sorry, for our new collection. And it'd be good if we could get even more people involved. So please go and check out the Instagram at Mostro, Mostro Clothing on Insta. And that does it. Big win, Celtic. We head into this break in a positive position in the league table, but not in a positive position when it comes to the performances. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching. Thank you to everybody who has watched live, and